Hi, you're listening to The Humans We Are with Carola, episode number 18. Hello, my beautiful humans. I hope you're doing amazing today. If you're new to the show, I want to welcome you and let you know that you are in the right place if you want to start relating to yourself in a different way, in a way that is more loving, more kind, and more productive too. I have a story today that involves something that I heard from one client recently, last week. But I've heard similar variations of that exact same story all throughout my coaching career. And I have also been personally in different versions of this same story many times in my own life. So because of that, I knew that this will resonate with many of you who are listening as well. So I am going to keep this story to, protect her privacy. And I'm going to keep the situation vague. But it was basically that she made a decision at work and she chose a course of action to implement that decision. And it's like she decided a solution to a problem that she had been presented with, and she took action on that decision. She gave directions to her team, and they all executed on the plan that she had come up with to solve that specific issue. And I know that this is vague, but this is probably exactly what most of us do, if not daily, very frequently, right? And I know I am being super vague, but the point is not about the situation specifically or her decision even, but instead about what happened next. So after she and her team had taken action according to my client's plan to solve the issue, she had an interaction with her boss where he asked her a few questions about the solution she had implemented. He asked about why she came up with that solution and the way that she had implemented it. And by the questions he asked, it seemed like he wanted to understand my client's thought process that led her to that specific solution for that problem and not others. And my client, as some of you may already be feeling as well, she felt super attacked. She felt questioned and like she was being accused of not knowing what she was doing. And during the conversation, she started feeling really insecure. And the more questions her boss asked, the faster and louder she felt her heart beating in her chest. And the more her boss challenged her decision and asked why a different course of action hadn't been her choice, the more agitated she felt, to the point that she felt so upset that she started crying in the middle of the conversation. She ended up excusing herself from his office just to remove herself from the situation that had her so emotionally activated. Just a little later, she was still so distraught by the whole situation and by her boss asking all the questions. And now on top of that, she was judging herself for having reacted so emotionally and, in her words, quote unquote, unprofessionally, which of course made her feel even more distraught. And she finally decided to go home early because she was so upset. Have you ever found yourself in a similar situation? Maybe in your case, it was your spouse asking the questions or challenging your decisions. Or perhaps it was your mom implying that you did something, quote unquote, the wrong way. or even your mother-in-law sharing with you the way that she would have handled a situation, which of course is different than the way that you handled it. I, of course, have been in similar situations multiple times, but of course, hearing that this is a very common human experience wasn't helpful for my client. It wasn't giving her much comfort as she was telling me about her experience. So I asked her a few questions to help understand a bit more, and it was very interesting. When we were having the conversation, of course, she was more grounded and her nervous system wasn't so activated anymore. So she was actually able to explore with more calm and with the benefit of the distance and the space and the time separating us now from when that happened. And it turns out that her boss didn't say anything negative about her decision or about the way she was handling things. He certainly didn't say that she was a bad professional, and he didn't offer different possible solutions. From what she was able to recall right there in the session with me, with more peace and more calm and more grounded, it seemed possible, at least, that he might have genuinely been trying to understand her thought process and how she had arrived to the conclusion that the way she had chosen was the best. So what happened? Why did things escalate so quickly for my client emotionally during that interaction? Well, I'm glad you asked. One of the first things that I teach my clients when we start working together is about the nervous system and how it works. Understanding how the nervous system works in general and getting to know your nervous system and how it has adapted throughout your life, how your personal nervous system responds to situations with fight, flight, or freeze, and also fawn, and how these responses are calibrated for you. Is probably the most important thing that you can do to support yourself in your day-to-day and also to move towards any goal. And the reason this is so important is that your nervous system responses determines how you react and experience your life. Even before you're able to consciously think helpful thoughts and potentially reframe a challenging situation, your nervous system has already reacted. And these reactions that your nervous system has learned over time and are automated are, one, not your fault. So if you find that under pressure or stress, for example, you tend to cry easily, it's not your fault. And two, those responses once were helpful. And that is why they were automated in your system, but they may not be helpful now. They may be totally outdated for all we know, and even unhelpful today. But it's important to honor that you have them for a reason, that they are a feature and not a bug in your system. Now, you may need a system upgrade, and that's available to you because now you're a grown human, and now that you're aware that a certain response is not needed anymore, you can totally learn to rewire it and replace it with something that's more helpful for your current situation. That's something that I help clients identify when we coach together, to decide what responses they may benefit from updating and how to reprogram them. So one of the key questions that I offer that you can ask yourself after an experience like my clients is, was the reaction really proportional to what happened, or was it more than was needed or more than was appropriate for what actually happened? And you need to ask this after the fact, especially at the beginning, because during it, like while it's unfolding, you won't have access to enough calm and clear-headedness to be able to do it. But after the fact, you can always ask, was it an appropriate response? Was it proportional to the situation? And please, please ask not from self-judgment, but with curiosity. And if it wasn't, you know then that that was an old response pattern that was triggered and it took over. And that's actually beautiful because it's a sign that your nervous system is protecting you and it's working exactly how it should. It's like, oh, I know how to help you in this situation. This is what's worked in the past. It's a feature, not a bug. And even if it's an outdated feature by now, it's not something that you need to be upset for or beat yourself up over. This is just one example of how important it is to get to know your own nervous system and its current calibration. What triggers which responses for you? What are your activators? In other words, what makes you feel ready to fight? What makes you feel like you want to flee? What gets you to freeze and not move and not react at all? And on the other hand, what makes you feel on top of the world and in control of everything that matters to you? These are what we call your glimmers. Mapping your own nervous system and identifying your personal activators and glimmers can be really fun, and it's a foundation of the work we do when we coach together. So if this is landing for you and you would like me to be your coach and guide you through this process, I have openings right now for one-on-one coaching. And in order to decide if this is a good fit for you, the first step is you can send an email to carolafuertes@gmail.com, or you can go to my bio on Instagram where I am @fuertescarola. And there you will find the first link is to schedule a conversation to explore one-on-one coaching with me. I'd love to talk with you and answer all your questions and help you decide if this is a good fit for you. This week again, I am asking for your support. If this content is helpful for you, please help me spread the word. And there are two main ways in which you can do that only take you a couple of minutes. One is share this episode with one person that you love and you think will benefit from it. And do it now. Don't leave it for later, because you know that sometimes like life gets in the way and one thing's led to another, and before you know it, it's already next week and you didn't share the episode. And the second is to go to Apple or Spotify, wherever you are listening to this, and leave an honest rating and review. I truly appreciate those of you who have done it. It really, really helps. And it makes the algorithm show this show to more people. Okay, I will be back next week. And in the meantime, be kind to yourself. Right now, notice, is there any discomfort in your body? Do a quick scan and adjust whatever you need to adjust to feel more comfortable right now in this minute. You deserve it. That's all for now, my lovely humans. Bye-bye.